and welcome back to Football by the Numbers. My name is John. We just crossed 1,000 views on a video, and I am joined by my two best friends. Keeper extraordinaire, hottest man in the backfield, Willard. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. Glad we've got some Champions League action. CONCACAF Champions League tonight. I wonder how Montreal's doing right now.
Andrew, the future former professional, the second hottest player on our team. How are you doing?
You know, that might have been the most emotion I've seen out of Will after you talked about his goalkeeping capabilities. However, I must say, we do very well with Sutan between the pipes.
We just crossed 1,000 views. Let's do a real quick recap, like 10 seconds. Will, how do you feel? Let me add this. We had one comment of a guy loving the emotion and the passion. I can only say that that's probably from you, Will. How do you feel?
I feel like that comment was about me. I'm ecstatic. I'm over the moon right now. Can't you tell?
Andrew,
there you guys have it. The most smiles we've ever gotten from Will. You know, I'm pretty pumped. I'm glad we're getting some traction here. Hopefully we can get a few more comments. Everybody needs to tell us what they think, how they feel. We need to see how angry we can make John. There's nothing better than a screaming John. And as we can see, that's what the fans want.
That's what it's going to be about. There's a Newcastle fan that got famous and has a huge podcast and studio in the middle of London because he kept saying the ex-owner of Newcastle was awful. And that's what I'm going to do here as long as Greg Berhalter's in a job. I'm just going to keep screaming F Berhalter. He's the wrong man for the job. He's awful. And then hopefully we'll just get big and famous. But I can't believe that this many people watch our videos. So thank you guys very much for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment down below. We got some great stuff in store for you. We got another Y video coming out for you that I'm going to film again. We got some good interviews potentially coming up with some big famous people out in the world, more famous than us. We got some big news on other fronts that we can't disclose yet. It's not finalized. Andrew has some stuff in the works. It's going to be great. Stay tuned to Football by the Numbers. You know where to find us. Anyway, guys, let's move on here to our topic of the day. What the hell are we talking about?
St. Louis City, John. Come on.
We're talking about St. Louis City, SC, the soccer capital of the freaking world, Jonathan. Yeah, no, that's the wrong city.
We're talking about city. Let's go over the big news here. Elephant in the room. Centene just announced their sponsorship of the stadium. St. Louis City will be playing at Centene Stadium. How do we feel about that, boys? Since they do sponsor our arch rivals, Charlotte FC.
Charlotte. Oh my gosh.
Hey, we got the Centene Derby now, so that'll be cool.
Hey, the Centene Derby is going to be cool. I'm honestly, I think it was just simply to feed the fire to our hatred towards Charlotte, because now my hatred for them are even stronger because we have to be the number one Centene stadium. Like, period. That's just the rules now. So Charlotte, I apologize. This hate relationship has started right off the bat. You guys started it. We're going to finish it by being the best.
And it sounds like it's already finished before it's even began, per the coach of Charlotte FC.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
That's a dumpster fire. And you know what? We can see that City over here is doing it the right way. We got our MLS Next team getting ready to kick off. We've got our MLS Next Pro team that's got some guys that are going to be moving up to the first team that I'm going to let Will kind of take the reins a little bit and introduce them to us.
I just want to say one thing about the MLS Next team. I just love how we're playing like a bunch of the second division teams and, you know, minor league teams and FC Cincinnati.
Pretty much the same level.
I was going to say, not a surprise. Same level, similar talent. Let's move on to some of these signings here on the MLS Next team and for St. Louis City. Who we got? What's it looking like?
Yeah. Only two officially. There is one, a third rumored. The first ever signing was Samir Pedro from Bosnia. He plays with Sarajevo. He's also on the Bosnian national team. He's 23 years old. He's a left back. I like what I saw from kind of his YouTube highlights. He looks like a very offensive attacking guy, very good crossing the ball, very quick, moves off the ball.
He kind of reminds me of a Zimmerman kind of feel. He's not super flashy, but he's quick and he makes good decisions with the ball.
Yeah, and that's great to hear that he's offensive too. You know, I think it was Jose Mourinho said you can play good football, you can play bad football, you can play offensive football, you can play defensive football, you just can't play bad football. And if it's offensive football, usually it's good football. Cough, cough, Greg. Let's move on to the second signing, who I honestly thought was the first signing.
Yeah, captain of the MLS Next Pro team right now, Josh Yarrow, is on an MLS deal. Yeah, he's a center back, right-footed predominantly. He comes from the USL, former MLS Super Draft pick, number 2 overall in 2016 by Philadelphia Union. So definitely has the potential. Mid to late 20s now at this point. Not a very offensive player, but very stout defensively. Was second team All USL last year. It seems like a very solid signing. Maybe not an MLS starter. Maybe fighting, potentially a starter, but probably fighting for minutes off the bench.
I feel like he's kind of our connection between our minor team and our first team. He's kind of the first signing that's going to allow us to kind of see how they are going to adapt a player that plays in their lower level team but may also get first team minutes. We get to kind of see how they handle that relationship. Is it a yo-yo effect? Is he going to go up and down? Will we find him with the 2 team more often than the first team? Will he go straight up to the first team? I think he's kind of that buffer zone of where they get to kind of play and see how they're going to dictate players and get that relationship going. It's kind of like a trial period where he's not expected to be a big-time MLS player right off the bat, but he could have that upside. He's not super young, but he's kind of in that growth will of talent where he could potentially make that jump.
So very exciting signings. We, of course, have Lutz Pfannenstiel, the Bundesliga presenter, as our, is it sporting director?
Let's not forget our third signing here, Jonathan.
It's not officially.
It's rumored. It's to be rumored. I mean, it's the most exciting. Isn't it the most exciting one? It's like the most talented one. It's from your league, John. I felt like you'd be all over this.
Last but not least, we've got Joachim Nielsen with Arminia Bielefeld, and they're in the bottom of the Bundesliga right now, near the bottom. But yeah, he's like 28, another center back, left-footed. Again, not a very offensive guy, kind of like Yarrow, but, very good defensively, and he's like in the 93rd percentile on minutes in the Bundesliga this year. He's also on the Swedish national team, so.
Do we think these signings are kind of foreshadowing for the way we're going to play ball?
I hope so, mostly with the left back. Joachim Nielsen and Josh Yarrow, if Josh Yarrow is going to be on the first team. If we can blast long crosses to the wingers, then yes, I'd be very excited with that. Or if they can build out of the back, then yes, I'm very excited. But let's talk about the MLS as a whole and how it's going to be improved with St. Louis, or the U.S. men's national team as a whole, or the international soccer community as a whole. St. Louis is a hub of soccer talent. We have very excellent academy programs here. Scott Gallagher, Lou Hughes being 2 of them, not to mention others. I wasn't in the soccer scene. Let's talk about the MLS and the U.S. men's national team as a whole, or maybe even the international soccer team. So we spoke about the club teams. You can obviously see the level of talent that we have. That's a little tongue-in-cheek humor for those of us who know the level of talent that we think of Tim Ream and of Josh Sargent. But the point is that we have players, we've generated players and opportunities for teams out there. You look at like Kyle Grieg and some other guys that were on St. Louis City FC. Shout out to Lou Boys SC. Go listen to that podcast on Spotify and on Anchor, wherever it can be found. What do you guys think this is going to do for the international soccer community? I feel like this is finally dipping in the talent pool that is St. Louis, and will finally have some stars break out of St. Louis and finally get some recognition that they deserve. This is just me being passionate about my boy Andrew here, who deserves a contract, who absolutely outperforms and outshines people at tryouts. That's no joke. Go look at his highlight reel. I'll be working on that and posting that on our YouTube channel for all the scouts and anybody who wants to look at that. This dude threads passes down and is ridiculous. Went to Spain to try out for Sociedad and Levante and all these other clubs. What is this going to do for other kids coming out of high school? Could this revitalize the city too?
I think it definitely opens up an avenue that has not been tapped here in St. Louis. It's going to allow players a little bit more of, for lack of better terms, smoother path to get to the level that they want to get to. In St. Louis, you used to see the talent have to move down, with Josh Sargent going to IMG Academy to kind of get his playing time and his name out there. And seeing guys like Tommy Barlow or Mark Zierbergs and Nick Jonas and all these guys that go play at Wisconsin, or Lynn that just got drafted in the super draft that went to Notre Dame now we're seeing guys play at SLU, and we're seeing guys like AJ Palzolo that are signing with St. Louis City's S2 team. I think we're gonna start seeing these guys stay in their roots in St. Louis rather than seeking out other avenues or areas to get that talent and name out.
Yeah, I think it was, evident in the Super Draft this year with 7 St. Louis related, draft picks. They just kind of went off and raved about St. Louis as a soccer hub and pipeline. But I think, City is going to open new avenues that Scott Gallagher and Lou Fuse and the other clubs didn't. If they stick to their word and keep it like they get rid of the pay-for-play system and they're finding guys in inner city or out in the boonies somewhere kind of on the outskirts of St. Louis or Missouri. Yeah, I think this could be awesome and really show off.
They have a huge chance to pull players from every inch of St. Louis and Missouri.
So much out here in the Midwest that's just so untapped. I don't even want to focus just on, I guess we have Kansas City out there, but we have Arkansas, we have Illinois, we have Tennessee, parts of Tennessee that don't have teams. We are a central hub. We have so much soccer talent in this city. This is going to be a super easy route for kids to finally get noticed, to finally get out of the constraints of the academy teams. And if we truly do get out of this pay-for-play system, we could be drawing talent in nationally. We could really be actually creating a European system of, instead of saying, hey, you're good at soccer, why don't you drop 10 grand on a season and come and play for us and train and maybe get a professional contract where you could pay that amount off. Andrew, I know you've had that struggle many years of your life. Instead, it could be, hey, you're a good soccer player. Why don't you come earn $500 a month? Just coming and practicing 3 times a week, playing some games at a professional level. You focus on this, make your studies. If you don't make it, well, then you cut off your stipend. But then we get some of the best talent in countrywide because they're saying, got decent schools in St. Louis. It's a good city. We've got a great soccer program. They're getting paid for it. Whereas everywhere else, in LA, in all these other expensive cities, cost of living's high, and you have to pay 10, 15, 20 grand for your kid to be on an academy team to maybe not make it. Why not make some cash and then possibly go on and play at an international level? This could really help out the inflow to our city, at least of just general population of people trying to get their kids paid to play soccer. This is going to be a transformational shift to how the MLS does things, to how City does things, to how St. Louis soccer does things. And the rumored partnership with the Bundesliga, with Bayer being a huge company here in town, who I thought personally they were going to be the sponsor of the stadium, with the rumored partnership with Bayer Leverkusen, who's brought up incredible talent like Moussa Diaby we see, Kai Havertz we see, and now Florian Wirtz we see, Leon Bailey, who just went to Aston Villa in the Premier League. Tons of young talent. And for them, maybe they farm some of their loans out. You're 16 years old, but you're looking like a shining star. Why don't you go get some first team action down in the MLS in St. Louis in the retirement league, where you can learn a thing or two from some of the older players who are retiring or at the end of their legs.
Reportedly, there's a link between Bayer Leverkusen and current City Academy and now next pro player Aaron Hurd, that he could be heading there when he turns 18. And maybe that was part of the attraction to scoop him from the Philadelphia Union Academy.
It's not unheard of. One of my friends got me an FC Dallas mug as a Christmas present, and I call it the FC Bayern 3 mug because they literally have like 5-10 players ship off every winter to go and train with FC Bayern for like 2-3 weeks. It's essentially like a pipeline to overseas into the Bundesliga, which has some of the fastest paced, most attacking football in the world. So I think this is an incredible opportunity for St. Louis. I think we'd be stupid not to try and at least come in here and spearhead some sort of transformation in the league. Any closing thoughts?
Honestly, I'm just excited to see St. Louis City be able to tap into places like the Hill, the Bosnian areas in Melville, Oakville, even the suburbs, and like Will said, the boonies, and then you got North County. There's so much widespread talent that hopefully they can stick to their word, get rid of the pay to play, and actually open up avenues for players that may not necessarily be able to pay for it. If they do that, they've changed the world of soccer. Coming from a player that paid 10 grand to play on the academy level, like I've been there. I know what it takes. Like,
You've
changed
been there,
the world
you've
if
been
they
there
do that.
multiple times. You've been there multiple times. You've paid the 10, 15, 20 grand to go overseas just to get recognized for the talent that you have. I still say that you are one of the best players I've ever seen in person play, and that's no joke.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Like and you've gone overseas and tried out. You've paid the money to try and get recognized, and now we have that beacon of light, that opportunity to get recognized right here in the middle of the country. It's an amazing thing for this.
I got nothing to add. You guys said it very well.
Passion.
I'm pumped. And the next pro team kicks off this weekend at home.
I'm just excited to start seeing this package get unwrapped and see the beautiful game here in St. Louis.
I am so excited for it as well. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, leave a like down below. Stay tuned. We got some good stuff coming up. We might have some money flowing into us to make this even better for you guys. We might have some good interviews with some famous people that you will actually know instead of just us three schlubs in the middle of the country. We might have some interviews. We have some good topics coming up on the Y series. So, one of them's going to be sneak peek, if you made it this far into the video, why PFOC deserves to be called up to the team again and be on that roster and on the plane for 2022. It's
Caden Clark,
boys. Caden Clark he probably deserves a call up too. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for pushing that last video above 1,000 views. We
subscribe.
So much appreciate. You guys are the most based fans in all of soccer. Remember that. Thank you for watching. We are football by the numbers.